Hey everyone, it's Leon. In the last two videos I've created, the absolutely simple flex and the absolutely simple metrics part one, I showed you how to use the flex integration, which is part of the New Relic infrastructure agent, to pick up metrics or values that aren't necessarily part of a standard agent or quick start or anything else, but they're part of either a custom application you've created, or it's just some data on the side that you really wish you could get integrated into your New Relic instance. And so it's really useful in that way. Now, the example I used in the last video, talking about picking up metrics using a script, is one way to do it. However, the example I used, and many of the use cases you run into, don't need you to parse out the data individually the way I did the last time with a CSV. It outputs data in a much more usable format called JSON. So I want to use this video to show you how to pull that kind of data in, custom metrics, but that's being given to you in JSON, whether it's coming from an API or any other source. So first, let me show you what it's going to look like. There it is. I'm still getting internet bandwidth, upload and download, and I'm getting it every, let's say, 10 minutes and grabbing it along the way. That's it. It looks the same as the last example. It's the method of getting it. Now, again, as a review, Speed Test, Ookla Speed Test, is a website that will tell you how fast your internet is going. And they have a command line that works on Mac or Windows or Ubuntu, on Linux or whatever you want to do. So that's wonderful. But what's the background? Well, the key to this is that if you run speed test, the last time I did a format of CSV. However, you can also do a format of JSON, and it will output the data looking a little different. There, this is actually JSON information. There's actually also an option for JSON pretty, which it'll be a little bit easier to read on screen. There's the pretty output. So it's just a little bit more readable. No difference there. But for my example, I'm going to be using just the regular JSON. In any case, that's the output. So once I know that I have a command that works, the next step, as we've been doing all along, is to take a look at the YAML. So here's my YAML file, and I'm skipping over, again, timeout of 10 minutes, interval of 10 minutes. You could probably bump that up to 30 minutes without having a problem. We're calling the speed test, and the command it's running, sudo speed test. Once again, the accept license is if you have never run this interactively to accept the license. That way it bypasses it. -F for format, JSON. I'm giving it, again, a 5-minute or 300 millisecond timeout. And the only key I want to remove from this is the timestamp. I don't need to collect that. And actually, the timestamp value from a JSON return will conflict with the built-in New Relic timestamp. So you absolutely want to strip it. But that's it. It's coming in as JSON, and that's all. Okay, so if I'm collecting all of that information, everything, then now what do I do? Well, okay, so we're going to go back to our query builder here, select it all, and I'm getting my download bandwidth, download bytes, download elapsed. I'm getting everything. That is amazing. That is really cool. And I had to do much less scripting. You'll remember in the last video I was doing everything in Python and parsing it out. So that's really neat. Okay, wonderful. I'm just going to do the same thing I did in the last ones. I'm going to say average download bandwidth, comma, average upload bandwidth, time series, run. There it is. That's not my bandwidth. It's not 118. It's more like I have about a gig. So something's wrong here. So what's going on is that in the other version, I had to divide the download and upload by 125,000, and I was able to do that inside the Python script that I was using. Here, it's coming raw off of the output, so I have to do that myself. However, it's easy. Just add it there, divided by 125. 1, 2, 3, 25,000. Run it again. Now I'm seeing the values that are in line with the bandwidth I know I'm getting. So my point here is that within NURCL, you can still do math functions. You can combine two values that you're getting together. You can do all the things that you would normally do in any other query language and still display those values. And once I have this set up correctly, I give the chart a name, I add it to a dashboard, just like I have, and that's what we were looking at here. Now, one of the really cool things is that you don't necessarily have to always do this yourself. I haven't mentioned it until now, but there is a GitHub repo with lots of samples that you can use. Either use them right as they are or use them as a building block to get where you want to go. The repo is new relic/nri-flex. And you'll see here that there are examples. And you get, Azure examples, dashboard, flex config examples, Lambda. If you look under Linux and you scroll down, you'll notice that there's an Ookla speed test. And that's exactly what we were looking at. It was actually added by me. I'm very proud of this. It was my first ever pull request, my first ever contribution to a GitHub repo, so it's very special to me. But in any case, you can go through these and look at these examples, and like I said, you can either use them to build off of to create something even more sophisticated for yourself, or you can use them as is if they do exactly what you want. So I hope this has given you even more ideas of ways that you can grab custom metrics, things that are unique because you have a homegrown application in your company or because the values simply aren't built into an existing quick start or agent, and have even more rich, meaningful, important information in your monitoring and observability platform. Until next time, thanks for watching.